Alright, so if you've clicked on this video, it's probably because you just have way too many leads to handle. Maybe you're running the business by yourself or with a few other people, and you just have so many people reach out to you and you don't know what to do with all these leads. Well, I have a solution for all this. And by the way, I completely understand what that's like. I was just on a call with a client of mine and they were handling around 40 to 50 leads a day across WhatsApp, Instagram, and also coming in from their ads. I mean, just imagine that, like having to run 50 different conversations at the same time, while also trying to run your backend and your business at the same time. Now, full transparency, I do have an offer at the end of this video. So if you are a business owner looking to work with me one-on-one, but if not, no worries, this video will give you a lot of value anyway. So let's get into it. Now, I don't have to tell you that we're entering a new era of service delivery. It's becoming really obvious that people are starting to demand for more and more things just because we have the technology to keep up with it. For example, AI. In a world full of like email automations and inbox summarizers and autoresponders and all that stuff, it's getting more and more difficult to stand out. And having seen behind the scenes of many businesses and talking to these owners, I think that I can clearly see where things are heading right now, and also what exactly the pain points are. So I'm going to break all that down in this video. You can take some notes, get some insights from it. Before we begin, I actually want to share something important with you. That's something I found while I was doing research actually for this very presentation, which is that the average response time of a business is around 47 hours. Now, this is crazy because most people expect a reply within 10 minutes. And I asked myself this question as well, like, why is there this massive divide? Why can't we just condense everything down and make this as efficient as possible? And I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? Like, that's as if you called the fire brigade because your house was on fire and they said, oh yeah, we'll get back to you, no worries. And then they just hang up. And I know this is a very far reach and it's not at all a good example, but I think that the principles still apply, right? Because it's about people trusting your business, and it's about you buying trust from people and then them purchasing and converting on your site or your info product or whatever it is in return. So you can ask yourself, I mean, would they still have your trust? Would you still buy from someone who's left you on red for a day or two? Now, I thought of a way of avoiding this altogether, but in hindsight, it turns out that it's a lot easier to just take this step by step. So instead of completely 100% erasing it, why don't we look at making your existing system just slightly more better performing? And that might be enough to give you the hours that you need in the day, the flexibility of your time, and also, or just not having to pay people for handling your leads. Now, I'm sure you've had a lot of people show you this info product funnel online, but I'll keep this brief. Yeah, at the top, you have awareness. You want to make sure that people are aware of your brand and and a general idea of what you guys do. And then you want to feed them with as much detail and as much information as possible, and also possibly give away sort of like free samples of what you offer. And this is like going to a market and you have these like little cheese blocks that you can taste and you can try out all different flavors. So for example, let's say you have a course and you give out the first module for free. And you just say, okay, if you sign up to my email list, I'll give this to you completely for free. And if you have enough value in your product, in your course, a majority of them will then convert into the purchasing stage. Now, in the content world, this is also called rented audiences, owned audiences, and retained audiences. But this will be important because guiding your customers to convert all hangs on one key metric. Because remember, conversion is actually just you buying trust from people. And this KPI I found while speaking with many clients before is lead response time. Now, lead response time is basically the time it takes for you to reach back out to a lead after it has presented itself. Especially in like e-commerce and info, it's people often buy from those that make them feel taken care of and make sure that they, as a customer, or even before they are convert as a customer, that they have this safety guarantee of being a part of your brand. Yeah, sure, it's about the quality of your product, but if you don't reach out to them, they'll just go for someone else who happened to reply to their DM and close them beforehand. So yeah, lead response time, very, very crucial. Now, remember the thing about being slightly better than the next person? I'll take this a step further and say, okay, what if we had 99 people? And ideally, all you'd have to do is just have a better lead response time than 99% of the people. So yeah, if you dial down your lead response time, it is basically a free ticket into the 1% and into dominating your niche. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's so many ways of reaching back out to people and making sure that you're well connected with your prospects and so on, and to also vet them. So how do you even go about deciding which outreach system is the best for your business? Now, that's obviously before you lose all your money trying out every single system and failing. So there's 5 key metrics that we need to consider for this. One is effort, the time that you spend, the cost, the scalability, and also the returns from the system itself. So what I mean by effort is how easy is it to set up initially? How easy is it to get going? The time spent, once you're up and running, how simple is it to maintain? You don't want to have a system that you need to sort of have a lookout for. You want to be very time separated from your system. The running costs, obviously, how much does it cost you per month? And we also need to consider how stress tolerable is the system actually. If my business, let's say if my lead flow doubled tomorrow, hypothetically, could the system keep up with my new lead flow? So you want to scale with your business as it grows year on year. And lastly, the golden metric of all of them, the return on your actual initial investment. And now this also goes for your time investment that you put. So we're considering the time spent and also the effort. And now that we have all of our key metrics that we need to consider, let's go ahead and do this ourselves. I'll do this together with you. So I've made this table. On the top, you'll see that I have the 5 key metrics that we just discussed. And on the left-hand side, we actually have 4 of the most popular outreach systems and lead handling systems that are out there. First one's live events. Second one is email marketing, email campaigns, whatever you want to call it. The third one is virtual assistants, so hiring people basically. And then the fourth one I've sort of left blank. It's the ideal system, and I'll get to this later. Just to start off with live events. Now, the effort that you take is obviously very high, right? Because you have to go out to these events. They often take a lot of time. You need to meet people one-on-one. Usually you're prospecting one-on-one. You don't just, go to an event and then tell everyone what you're doing. But the good news is that it is completely free. It doesn't cost anything to talk to people. However, you're sort of restricted on the scalability end, which means that, as I said, because of the nature of live events, it's just so personal and it's such an intimate way to get leads. Yeah, sure, you'll find the best quality, but unfortunately, you still need to, follow up with them, text them afterwards, and then you'll have one on Instagram, one you've given your actual number to, and so on. It just becomes this very large mess. Because of that, I put varying returns, and this also depends on how well you do closing in social situations. Now, to set up with emails and email marketing, I've actually done this. It's very easy. It's not that difficult. It's just finding the right software, and once you've found it, it's just lining up those campaigns. So now you do spend a bit of time managing and making sure that every single that the CTRs are good, and then you'd have to refine a heading or refine a subject line, and also change up things while you're running your campaign as you learn what works and what doesn't, and also through split testing. The good news is these softwares are usually very cheap. They don't really cost a lot. And another good news is that they have a very high scalability. You can reach thousands of people every single month, and they can all be part of your ideal customer profile. It's just lining up sequences one after the other. So for that reason, I've put the returns at 30 to 50%, and that's because the average open rate of an email is also not that great. So realistically, if you're sending 500 emails, only 250 of them will actually open them and then read them, and then even less will convert. Now we go to virtual assistants. Hiring, if you do this correctly, is extremely difficult, and I'll tell you why. Because it's very easy for me to go on Upwork and then hire some guy from halfway around the world who can do it for very cheap. Sure, I can do that. But here I'm talking about high quality vetted individuals that know what they're doing, and they're becoming a part of your brand. And so doing this correctly is going to take a lot of effort. Now, obviously, we need to manage these new hires, show them the ropes in the beginning, and lay out the SOPs. Previously, all this is sort of in your intuition, but you now need to put it on paper and let other people know the way you want things to be done. Now, as I said, because we're doing this correctly, they do cost a lot. This means that a lot of your profit margins are going to be dented because you're paying the setters multiple 4 figures every single month, and obviously it bites into your bottom line. And also, I found that the average close rate, depending on setter, is around roughly 20 to 30%. So they, at the end of the day, they may not even be performing that great. Now, here's the fun part. If we could sort of imagine an ideal system, how would that look like? Based off of what you just saw, we would ideally want a very low effort to set up, to get going, and basically no managing time. We don't want to be looking at the system and seeing, oh, is this performing well? Should I change something here? Should I make sure that this is improved? We don't want to be doing any of that. Remember, this is ideal. This is fictional, okay? And also, we want to be as close to $0 as we can, and we don't want this to dent into our profit margins at the end of the month. And because you're spending low effort and low time, by definition, you're going to have a very high scalability, which means that the returns are going to be phenomenal. But, of course, few things in this world are truly 100% perfect. However, based on what we've just seen, looking at the criteria, I can say with confidence that there's one solution that comes very close to this ideal system. And this is something that I've been working on for the past 12 months in my AI space, which is end-to-end lead handler systems that are also known as AI lead assets. Now, before I actually go ahead and show you what that is, here are 3 reasons why specifically AI systems are the way to go. Now, you're finally able to handle leads around the clock. Now, obviously, with an AI system, you don't have to deal with time zones and working hours and all those things that would sort of come with conventional hiring. The system is online 24/7. There's no constant back and forth anymore, which means that you get a fully autonomous, noiseless system that turns over leads consistently. And not to say it's an instant divide from the standard online experience for your consumers. Now, most of the time, people are just used to this very slow way of purchasing things online, and especially when it comes to things like customer support or just nurturing leads and answering any questions that they may have in the sort of prospect phase. Like, it's very, very easy to offset all of this to AI. Now, finally, what exactly are AI lead assets? What do I mean by that? Instead of me sitting here with these like wireframe drawings and technical videos explaining how to like walk through and all that stuff, probably the stuff that you're used to on this channel, why don't I go ahead and actually show you what I've made? So this is actually an AI agent that I built out around 4 months ago for one of my clients. Obviously, I've changed names and replaced any sensitive information, but you'll be able to see an inside look on how exactly the top 1% close customers. Keep in mind, this is on a platform called VoiceFlow, but essentially this interface and this messaging would be on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, pretty much on any platform where your leads come in. So I'll walk you very quickly through what it can do. Let's just say, where are you guys located? Very simple question. And you see it tries to confirm what exactly it is that we want, and we can have these nice buttons as well. And these also show up on the Messenger and other platforms as well. So you can go yes. And there you go, it just gives an address. And then the flow continues, and we can ask things like, give me some prices for So yeah, it can do things like list out prices or any discounts that you guys may have. Whatever offers that you're running, this is really, really good as a basic sort of frequently asked questions. And all this is actually in the knowledge base. So if we go here into knowledge base of my agent, obviously I've changed this to like an ice cream shop. You can see that you can put in the SOPs of your company, and you can put it in all into one PDF, and the agent can retrieve from this PDF only, and it will answer any questions that your prospects may have, and it will try to close them all based on what you have in your PDF. So, and as I said, the cool thing with these agents is that it doesn't matter if you're selling info products on WAP, or if you have an e-commerce store on Shopify, or if you're just funneling people into a school community. The one great thing about this method is that it takes all your leads from WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and everywhere else pretty much, and it siphons them all into one agent and one conversation that you can control, that you can prompt very, very specifically to either close them or just to inform and nurture your audiences. And I think on this spectrum, well, most people, they go for that sort of close because that's where the money is at the end of the day. But you can also have this as a sort of first touch point into your business, making sure that people's queries just don't go unanswered like they used to like a year ago. So yeah, you have the huge advantage of being platform independent. You don't need to go back and forth. Like this is all handled in one place, in one string. And I mean, you can just imagine this for yourself, like how it would look like. Not only have you successfully brought back your time, but the AI also improves with scale. Over time, you know which prompts work through split testing. You know which prompts work and which ones don't. And not to mention, this thing consistently closes customers and closes deals for you 24/7, regardless of your presence. And that's not even the best part. I mean, the best part for me personally, I'm a data guy. So I love pulling telemetry data from my agents. And that's also what I do for my clients, which is basically every callable piece of data that comes from my agents and my automation systems, my backend systems. It all gets put into Looker Studio. You can use Google Sheets for it if you want, but I personally like to use Looker Studio. You can make nice visualizations like this, and you can find out exactly what works and what doesn't. And all your split test results are going to be on here. Every sort of session time, the average number of messages that the user interacts with, the average close rate of your agent, and also just in general the things like how long do people spend interacting with your agent, or what's like the most frequently asked question that now can be added to your knowledge base. This alone is just so valuable to businesses, and just gathering as much lead data as you can. And that's just me. I love to make informed decisions, especially also on my clients' behalf. So this is just very, very cool, especially in combination with our AI lead assets. Now, at this point, I'd like to remind you very shortly that you have a small window before competitors start taking your market share. You have to keep in mind that the AI adoption cycle is a bit different. You have a very high demand for your product or service, and it's ever growing. Year on year, you're experiencing more and more clients and more leads. They come to you either organically, through your content, through referrals, whatever that may be. But you're sort of limited by the capabilities of productive hours in a day. And I mean, the problem becomes pretty obvious. You have a very glaring gap that needs to be dealt with. And since saturation is inevitable, running these systems will not only increase your profit margins by staggering. And by the way, if you don't think that saturation is inevitable, just look at e-commerce in 2017, 2018, SMMA in 2020, and also now info products in 2022, which, by the way, is 3 years ago, but still. What do you think is going to happen to the AI space in 12 months' time? So not only will this increase your profit margins by a large amount, but just the fact that you have an AI lead handler as a first touch point, it just says so much about you as a business owner and the way you treat the people that reach out to you. And in turn, and I see this in my clients as well, you get more bookings, more respect, and more recognition at the end of the day for taking actions ahead of the curve. And I probably should have done this earlier along in the video, but I just want to quickly mention who this video is not for, because YouTube's been recommending my content to all sorts of people lately. So this is not for those that see this as another trend to invest in, or they're just trying to ride through the AI wave. These systems are a day and night difference in the way you operate. And I mean, at this point in time, you either have two choices. You either educate yourself on this, or you simply get left behind. And I guarantee you that the things that we talk about now in maybe 2 years' time, or maybe even less, are going to be common practice, and they're going to be a given, which means that the door will close on these opportunities very quickly. Now, full transparency on my side, my aim is simply to bridge the knowledge gap for business owners when it comes to AI, because I see a lot of misinformation out there. I see just people making up systems, like, it's just crazy stuff, and I want to make sure that people are well informed going into the next 12 to 16 months. And for that reason, I've actually gone ahead and made a playbook. Everything that was discussed in this video and more you can find in the playbook. It will be the first link in the description below. You can download it there. And you'll also find a bunch of bonuses like the AI self-audit that I personally use with my consulting clients when they come to me with problems and bottlenecks, but they don't know where to start. And also you'll receive a free audit on me. You'll find information regarding all that in the description below. So if you are a business owner consistently doing more than 10K a month in monthly recurring revenue, there'll also be another link. You can access this also through the playbook itself, but there'll be a link to work with me one-on-one. This isn't like some kind of course or where I just send you to a bunch of unlisted videos. Like, no, we're actually sitting down and we're going to dissect your bottlenecks. We're going to see where I can inject AI into the correct places. And then we're going to set up backend automations, everything from start to finish. There'll be a link below to book in a call with me. And at this point, I would like to thank you for your time in this video, and I hope to speak to you very soon.